Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It's Monday, November the 28th, 2016, Cyber Monday. I've added even more columns to the TRO zone's dashboard, so let's get right to it, because might run out of time in one video. Okay, I'll show you these columns here in the inputs. See, I think I just went right past them. Let's look again. Here we go. We have the TCP/BC breakout column. That's for the central pivot range. I guess maybe I could have said CPR breakout. That's this column here. Then we have the CPR column, and then we have the PP fade column, and I'll explain what those are right away. So TC, BC, and the pivot point. This is the central pivot range, the area between the TC and the BC. Okay, so this column tells you how many pips above or below price is. So right now it is 80 pips below the BC. Okay, and you can see here in the CPR it tells you it's below the PC. So you don't have to use both of these. You can use one or the other. Now, the fade column. What this tells you is basically do you want to fade the central pivot zone. So for example, when price opened, it opened here. Okay, it was a gap down. Price never made it back to the CPR. And if you look over a bunch of days, well, we don't have it on this particular indicator, you will see, especially on the dollar-yen, price loves to go back to this range. So if it hasn't touched it during the day, you can almost bet it's going to go back that way. So you see here it started, it went back that way, it came down here past S2, and it went back that way. So this is fading this area. That's what this column is. Over just means you missed the trade. So here, if you look at the dollar franc, you can see here it went in and came back out. And see, it went in and out. So that's another thing. You can also do the breakouts, and that's what this indicator, because once it gets inside this range, it likes to come out of it. So the fade just tells you, hey, it's already, once it's faded, it's that trade's over. Don't even think about it. I mean, if you want to double dip, you can, but as far as the indicator, no, it's no longer live. But as you can see here, this fade is still in effect. It probably won't happen due to the time. We're almost out of time here for the day. So chances are tomorrow it's going to want to come into this area. Okay, so that's those three columns. Once again, the CPR just tells you where price is in relation. The TC/BC tells you how far out. And let me just do one. No, we don't want to put one-click trading on. Let's go back here to the dashboard, and let's just look at all of the pairs, because there might be some other action to show. Nope, that's the only one. Everything else is over. Okay, let's see what other columns I've added and changed here. Okay. We come down, and I've added crossover bars column and crossover time. So let's just put this in column 5, and we can put this in column 6. Now, crossover period here is the day. The price is the open price. You can see here you got the open, high, low, median, which is the midpoint. Typical, that's the pivot. And the weighted price is open plus high plus low plus close divided by 4. That's what they call the weighted price. So we're going to look at, in this case, we're going to look at today is the bar. We're going to use today, current bar, daily bar, current bar. We're going to look at the open price. So what this will give us is the daily open crossover. Now we're going to look at time. Let's see. I like to use, in this case, we're going to use the open price of the 1 hour time period or 1 hour bar, and we're going to use the bar at 1400, which is the hour before New York opens. Okay, so those are 2 columns that we will display. And so you can see here, what this does is it looks at the bar and it tells you about the crossover. So here, the AUDJPY. Let's put the daily open here. And let's see, show the open true. So you can see, where is the daily open? It's right here. And so what this indicator is doing is it's looking at the current bar. Okay, we're on the H1. So it's going to look at the current bar for the chart, and it's going to tell you, is it near? Did it cross over? So here you can see it crossed over, it opened above, went down, crossed over the daily open, and it's right now it's 4 pips below. Okay, and you just saw the euro flash here. So we would have to put up the time. So what we can do is we can add another copy of TRO HL5, and we're going to turn off the normal lines, and we're going to turn on the timelines. And I already have it set up for 14. That's just the default. So you can see here, this means the magenta, it's within the threshold, and we've got the threshold set for 2 pips. So in the dashboard inputs, the threshold works on all of the columns. So if it gets within 2 pips of the 1400 open for the H1, right here, this bar open, it's going to light up, and you can see here. So on like the AUD, you see it's not even near there, so just blank. But if you switch your time frames, remember it's going to work with this one, so you can see more things have happened during the H4 time period. Here's the open. You can see that the USD JPY, it's saying it's 14. Oh, that's the H4 open. But what we need to do in this indicator, oh, this is so funny. We have to turn that to 60. So we get the correct H1 open, which is right here. So many pieces, so many different things. You have to get them all just right. But see, we could switch, we could go down to M30. And there's the H1 open right there for the 1400. And as you can see, this bar did not cross over. So these 2 are crossover columns. It's funny, I realized that I made a lot of different breakout columns, but for some strange reason I didn't do crossovers, because a crossover, you can almost think of it as half a breakout, or you can think of a breakout as you've got a crossover of a high and a crossover of a low. So I was thinking, might as well put those crossovers in there just for daily open, or you might want to have the weekly open, which is a One of my favorite trades. So those are the columns that I've added to the indicator, and I'm trying to remember if I changed anything else in the indicator. So let me just take a quick gander down the columns here to see if there was anything, if I've changed or added anything. We've got the range. And I've got more columns to add in case you're wondering. I know months ago I thought I was going to stop, but that doesn't happen. In fact, some of these I'm putting off to next year because there's some big changes I'm going to do. And I've got a couple other, I think, some small ones, like maybe putting the high op and op low columns in here. And I got a few other indicators to work on too. I think, did I do something new with the strength indicator? I think I do believe I've talked about having the strength and the strength bar if you want to use the current or the day before. I do believe I've showed you how to do that in previous. Divergence, yes, I've done that. The previous mid, maybe these could be new too. Let me just load these up here. And let's see, let's make this one 20 and this one 19 so I can show you about those. And I guess this is going to take a little while to load. Okay, previous midpoint entry, we're going to use M5. Previous midpoint exit, we're going to use M1. Now, what this does is it tells you where price is in relation to the midpoints. So what we should probably do is put the mid dots, and let's just use the previous mid. Okay, so here's the previous mid, and we need to switch over to the M5 time frame. Okay, so what you want to do is when price switches, so you see here price opened above that mid dot. It's right there. It might be hard to see because it's magenta. I can always, maybe I'll just change it to black just for make it easier to see. Okay, so after it switches, this is when you want to trade. Okay, it opened below, we want to short. Okay, now in this case it opened above, but we're using M1 for the exit, not M5. So entry is when it switches. You want to go in. So here it opened above, but here it opened below, so you'd switch again. And you can see here it's staying below, opening below, so you stay in the trade. You can use M5 as the exit if you want to stay in, but if you're scalping, sometimes it's best to use M1. So if you switch over to M1, you can see here, as soon as it opened above, you'd exit the trade. So somewhere back in here, you got in with the M5, and it was about in let's see, 112.20 area, and here the M1s would have kept you in until the 16, somewhere around 16. So that was probably good for about 7 pips or so. So that's why it's telling you either you want to exit short or exit your longs, because it just switched. Now, this buy or sell tells you when it just switched on the M5. So right here, well, let's look at Canadian yen. So right here it opened above that mid dot, so it's telling you to switch. Here on these longs it's saying, let's see, where did it open? So it opened above here, it opened but it opened below here, open above. So it's telling you to stay